Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode here on European Confessions. The following story that you're going to be listening to, it was sent to me by one of our dear sisters. Strange things do happen in this world. Such a young woman. The message reads like this: Hello, Brother Nashi, how are you? Can you please post my own story? Me and my husband, we started dating each other. This was in the year 2021. Then we slept with each other only once. Then I fell pregnant for him, and he told me that I should move in with him. So I then started staying at his parents' house. But there are things about me that my husband does not even know. There are things that you cannot find out about me, things that makes me to feel very ashamed of myself, ashamed of my family. But these things, it is not because I asked of them, but it follows our bloodline. It is said that one of our great parents, he was a ritualist, and he had this pot of wealth, and this pot of wealth, it always demanded that he always sacrificed one amongst his children. And this pot of wealth, we are told that it has been in our family for a very long time, for hundreds and hundreds of years. And indeed, it is quite an old clay pot. Even from the designs, you can see that the people that designed this clay pot, they lived like maybe in the 14th or in the 13th century. Because of the designs, it is quite old. So this pot, it has since been handed over to me, but I never wanted this pot. But the way that they handed over this pot to me, they actually tricked me, because at that time when I had fallen pregnant for my husband, I had to inform my auntie, and in our family we are like an open family. So even my mom, when I started to sleep with this guy, I told my mom that this is what was now going on. I had a boyfriend. She actually encouraged me to at least I had to go and stay with my boyfriend. But since this had to be done according to our Shona tradition, my mom was not able to go with me to my husband's parents' house, but they called our auntie. So when our auntie came, then our auntie gave me a bracelet. When she gave me this bracelet, I just thought that maybe this bracelet she had given me so that I can just control my husband. But little did I know that by me accepting this bracelet, it was their token, and I was actually accepting my fate, that the day that my auntie was going to die, then I was going to be the one that was going to possess this pot of wealth. Because this pot of wealth, it is supposed to be kept by women that are born into our family. So in my father's generation, this pot of wealth, it was given to my father's cousin sister, my auntie, the one who handed over her bracelet to me. She just said that this was a gift that she was giving to me, so that when I go to stay with my in-laws, then my in-laws, they won't mistreat me. It was just a good luck charm that she was giving me. But little did I know that this bracelet, it goes hand in hand with the clay pot that is called the pot of wealth in our family, that always demand the blood of your first child. So after I had accepted that bracelet, that was when I went and I started staying with my husband. But when my auntie was about to leave me and go back to the village, she then gave me a very funny instruction. She told me that I was supposed to go to an area where there was a flowing river, and that was where I was supposed to bury this bracelet, and I had to do it quickly before I had given birth. Otherwise, I was going to be mistreated by my husband or by my relatives. And when you are young, you do not want your husband to mistreat you. After my auntie had left for the village, I did not go to the river as she had told me. She kept on visiting me in my dreams and kept on reminding me that my pregnancy, as it was growing, then this bracelet was slowly losing its power. So I then woke up one morning and I lied to my mother-in-law and my father-in-law and my husband included, that I wanted to go to the hospital for my checkup. And when my mother-in-law told my husband to accompany me to the hospital, and I refused, and I said that I just wanted to be alone, then they let me go to the hospital alone, and they just thought that maybe those were the pregnancy hormones, because I was acting as if I was hating him, and I had created that scenario so that I can do my stuff alone. I walked just for a little bit, and I got into the taxi, and I dropped off somewhere where I knew that it was really close to the river. So I went to this other little stream that is in Harare that is called Mkovisi. A lot of people, they know this little river. That is where I went, and when I looked and I saw that there was no one who was watching me, that was when I started to dig, and I started digging because he had told me that I was supposed to dig until my ankles will be inside. She told me that I was supposed to dig a hole that was deep enough, maybe knee deep, and I dug up using my own hands. Lucky enough, the place where I was digging, it was really wet and there was not a lot of stones. And then I buried that bracelet. So this bracelet, it is a copper bracelet. I'm sure that you know them. Most of the people, like you who love traditional stuff, they wear those copper bracelets. That is the copper bracelet that she had given to me, and I buried it. After I had buried this copper bracelet, I then returned back to my in-laws' house. Little did I know that I had actually dedicated myself to the altar, and I had told the spirits, those ones that my great-grandfather had made a deal with, saying that he wanted to work with them so that they can keep on bringing great wealth into the family like they had been doing for all of these centuries. When I was fast asleep in the room that I was sleeping with my husband, that was when I saw a god. So when I saw this god, I was really shocked because we were like in the city. It isn't, to my surprise, this god spoke with me. When this god was speaking with me, it then told me to follow it outside. And when I followed it outside, I saw that there was a portal, and it went through that portal. And when I followed it on the other side, I saw that we were caught up in a wilderness where nothing grew, and that place, it was really hot. This god then told me that it was the same spirit that my ancestors used to communicate with, and this god then transformed itself and it became a very beautiful, handsome angel. And it looked at me and it said, "You see, this is my true form." And it told me that yes, it still wanted to work with our family, it still wanted to give us great wealth, but it wanted me to perform a blood sacrifice, and so that we can continue with this covenant. I thought that maybe it wanted my blood, so I took a rock, I picked up a sharp rock, and then I wanted to cut myself so that I can give my blood to this angel. But it then told me that it did not require my blood because my blood was already tainted. So it then pointed its finger at my belly, and I knew that it actually wanted the little human that was growing inside my womb. And I started to cry. It told me that it was not allowed to cry because in the place where we were, it was its own dominion. So the more that I cried, the more that I was going to make it angry. All that I had to do was to accept. Whilst we were in that wilderness, then that angel told me that all that I had to do was to kneel before the angel, and that is what I did. And after I had knelt down before that angel, the angel blessed me, and he told me that it was going to be well with me. And then the vision came to an end, and I found myself in that bedroom where I was sleeping with my husband. And I then felt that there was something that wanted to come out of my private part. I then placed my hand on my private part, and I started to feel around my private parts, and I felt that my hand was getting wet. I switched on the light and I saw that I was bleeding. It was a lot of blood, and I was already having a miscarriage. I wanted to scream to my husband, but then I heard that voice whispering into my ears, and it told me that I should not scream. Rather, what I was supposed to do was I was supposed to go to the bathroom. So I then went into the bathroom. Mysteriously, when I went into the bathroom, I found out that there was a clay pot that was on the bathroom floor. The creature told me that I had to find a way to get the blood that was coming out of my private part straight into that clay pot, and that was what I did. So whilst I was kneeling down, I had that clay pot between my legs, and then it just fell out. The little human fell out of my womb straight into that clay pot. And then the voice told me to go back to sleep. So I then went back to sleep. The moment that I was asleep, then my husband woke up. He woke up and he was crying. And when I woke up, I said, "What is wrong?" Then he showed me the blood that was all over the sheets because I had messed up the bedding. That was when I felt such a great pain, and then I started acting as if I was having a miscarriage again, but already I had had the miscarriage and the little human had been taken away. I was rushed over to the hospital, and the doctors thought that they were actually helping me out, but little did they know that my womb was already cleaned out. So that is how I started performing these rituals. So me and my husband, we are currently living here in Europe because of ancestry. My husband had to come here to Europe, so I also came here by me being his legally married wife. So here we are in Europe. I even have this clay pot with me, but it makes me to feel very ashamed because as for my husband, I married an eldest son. So each and every time when we are in church, if I start to think about the rituals that I regularly perform for the sake of my family so that they can be wealthy as they are, it really hurts me. And I know that there is no turning back. For this angel told me that as for me, there is no salvation. I can go to church, but there is no salvation because my ancestors a very long time ago, when they communicated with this angel, these angels, their blood was tainted, and their blood, the DNA was altered. So Jesus Christ cannot save me. His blood cannot connect to my blood. For my DNA, the DNA of my ancestors, and therefore my own DNA, I was born with a DNA that was altered so that we can be able to see these angels and to make these contracts and to have these contracts with these angelic beings. Therefore it told me that even if I go to church, there is no actual salvation for me. This is what this angel told me whilst we were in that wilderness. So this is my own story, my brother. I come from my family that has been in communication with these beings, these spiritual beings, for many, many centuries, even though some of my even though some of my aunties and my uncles have been working as your traditional healers, but the truth of the matter is that they just communicate with these strange beings that actually teaches them different plants that they can use to cure different types of diseases. This is my own story, Brother Nashi. Dear listeners, right there was a message that was sent to me by one of our sister right there. Strange things do happen in this world. Please let us talk about this issue in the comment section. Is it even possible that one can say that my DNA was altered so that so that I can see spiritual beings and angels? Tell me what you think in the comment section.